Stellantis is in a particularly tough position, particularly in North America. They've indicated that they overshot in terms of pricing.
The situation at Stellantis is getting dire with each passing day. It's just been revealed that the automaker could be on the verge of declaring bankruptcy after suffering a shocking decline in the sales of their most common brands, Jeep, Ram, Chrysler, and Dodge. In a move to try and salvage the situation, Stellantis is now offering these vehicles at almost throwaway prices in what seems to be a desperate move to remain afloat. Now, what's really going on over at Stellantis? And what do these massive discounts for Stellantis brands mean for you and me, the automaker, and the industry at large? Stay tuned. To understand why Stellantis could be well on its way out of the industry, we first need to understand the real situation facing the entire industry. You see, despite the industry seemingly doing well post-pandemic, one thing has remained uncertain, and that's the price of new cars. Toward the end of 2023, the average price of a new car was $47,936, this representing a 3.5% decline in prices year on year since 2022. Analyst projections hinted at further declines in 2024, and to add insult to injury, an oversupply of about 5 million vehicles is also expected to trigger further price reductions. This drives to one likelihood: an industry player like Stellantis is in a tough spot. With car prices dropping and a massive oversupply in the market, the automaker finds itself in a tight spot. If they can't adjust to these changing dynamics in the industry, they might keep losing money, which could even push them toward bankruptcy. It's a serious crossroads for them. Here's the real picture. Jeep, one of Stellantis' best-selling brands, has experienced a 6% drop in sales in the last 1 year. On the other hand, the sales of Ram trucks have plummeted 19%, while Dodge has suffered a 43% nosedive in sales. Chrysler is the most affected as its sales have tanked by a whopping 47% within 1 year. Stellantis' situation just keeps getting worse. In 2024 alone, its share price has plunged over 40% as investors grow increasingly doubtful about its long-term sustainability. Adding to the trouble, its net profit in 2024 is $6.19 billion, this being a massive 48% drop from the previous financial year. Now, you might be justified in thinking that the situation at Stellantis is purely a result of uncertainty facing the industry. However, the real truth is way far from that. At this point, it turns out that Stellantis has actually been making a number of questionable decisions that haven't helped the situation at all. It's as if the automaker has found itself in a hole, yet instead of strategizing a way out, it keeps digging deeper and deeper and sinking further. The first questionable decision came in the form of ending the production of the renowned and also the most affordable Ram truck in its lineup, the Ram 1500 Classic. The company argued that ending the production of this truck would help it offer a more advanced truck with new technologies and better efficiency. Many enthusiasts are clearly not happy about this move. They argue that there was nothing wrong with the Ram 1500 Classic, and it seems like this is just a way to introduce a more expensive option into the market. As if that's not enough, the automaker has gone ahead and pulled the plug on one of the most popular Jeep models, the Jeep Cherokee. It beats many how a model that was until recently considered to be one of the strongest contenders in the mid-SUV market could suddenly become a candidate for discontinuation.
It's the ultimate proof that adventure can be luxurious too. And it remains the most awarded SUV.
And now to the most controversial decision that has affected Stellantis the most, the pricing factor. While Stellantis has marketed its brands as premium options, alternatives like Ford offer similar features and capabilities at more attractive price points. This situation has led to a decline in Stellantis' sales as customers prefer the alternatives that are far more fairly priced. We don't need to look that far to understand what this means. Let's consider the Jeep brand for a moment. This price brand has recorded a 60% price increase between 2018 and 2023. That's twice the average increase for new vehicles across the United States. In money terms, the average price for a new Jeep has increased from $33,950 to $54,700. Put simply, this pricing strategy has not sat well with customers, especially during these tough economic times when people are most conscious about how they spend their money and are less willing to splurge on luxury items like cars. The reality is that Stellantis is really feeling the heat from these pricing decisions. This has led to an oversupply of vehicles that are proving to be a challenge, not just for the automaker, but also for the dealers that have to grapple with this excess inventory that doesn't seem to be moving as expected. Right now, there are about 1.4 million cars within the Stellantis umbrella that are just sitting idle in dealer lots across the United States. This oversupply further reflects how overpriced cars can create a backlog, making it tough for dealerships to move inventory. For instance, some models, like the now defunct Jeep Renegade, are spending as much as 332 days on dealer lots before they're sold. Clearly, that's more than just a logistical issue. It's a real sign that customers are hesitant to shell out for vehicles that they feel are not fairly priced. And just as expected, these decisions were bound to rub more than a few people the wrong way. But before we take a look into that, let's take a minute to remind you to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so that you don't miss any of our uploads in the future. Thanks, and back to the video. Among the people that Stellantis has infuriated with the decision to offer its vehicles at higher prices are the dealers. They explained that they didn't understand why Stellantis failed to revise its prices downwards after the pandemic in line with its competitors. To make matters worse, they've also complained that Stellantis has become notoriously slow in its responses to discounting. The dealers have also expressed dissatisfaction at the measures that the automaker has taken to address the pricing issue and the stagnant inventory. As it turns out, this is not the first time that these dealers have expressed their frustration at Stellantis' pricing strategy and inventory allocation, accusing it of adopting strategies that were only aimed at providing short-term relief while risking its long-term future and sustainability. Another faction that has been left disappointed by Stellantis' woes is its shareholders. You see, the pricing strategy triggered a slump in sales, which has in turn resulted in a revision of the company's profitability outlook for 2024. Now, the company has recently downgraded its profit forecast for 2024 and now predicts a negative cash flow ranging from $5.4 billion to $10.8 billion, which poses significant challenges to its plans for dividends and share buybacks. Additionally, it has lowered its projected operating profit margin to 5.5% to 7%, this being a steep downgrade from its previous double-digit expectations. These shareholders are angered by the fact that they could be facing reduced returns on their investments, all this due to the blatant failure to adapt accordingly and align its pricing strategies with the shift in the market. And, as expected, Stellantis is now revising the prices of its cars downward. But there's a catch. The prices are too low, and it's now causing tensions in the market. After realizing the gravity of the issue, the automaker is now prepared to cut prices in an effort to reignite the demand for its vehicles. Also, it's announced that it's looking to offer discounts to some of its brands as it attempts to move the inventory that has been stagnant at dealers' lots for a long time. Nonetheless, this strategy may backfire. How, you ask? Well, a steep price reduction would mean that the company could be pressured to sell a greater number of units to maintain a viable profit margin. Also, key to note is that the move to slash prices comes at a time when the company's shares have already taken a nosedive. Now, there's an increased risk that investors already wary due to plummeting share prices could view this strategy as a sign of desperation. If lower prices fail to drive significant sales, it could signal deeper issues, leading to doubts about the company's long-term future and financial sustainability. The thing is, while lowering vehicle prices has worked for other automakers before, the current market dynamics means that this is a whole different ballgame for the company, and it remains to be seen whether it will be effective in the long term.